to talk about FundIT. Kemal is a senior director for the infrastructure lines in OIT, and not many people know, but he is actually part of a secret underground knitting society where he acts as the secretary of yarn.
Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
So, I just realized this. So Laura asked me for a bio, and I didn't have the time. I said, how do you make something up? I do this every once in a while to see what people come up with, and this is what she came up with, because she's very creative. But I also actually do knit. So going back to Jeff's talk, those of you who know me that I might be excitable sometimes. Okay, that's a lot of people. And I was looking for ways to calm down, and I was talking to my wife, and she said, you should try knitting. Said, that's better than, when I'm watching TV, instead of playing on my phone and getting more anxious or angry at things, I should knit. So I started doing that. I only do scarves. I can do an infinite scarf, nothing else. But then my daughter decided to do it too, because she thought it looked cool. So now, every once in a while, we'll sit down together, both of us will knit and watch Law and Order. She's 9, by the way. That's not great. But, this is how I relax. So, today I'm here to talk about FundIT. And first, I want to give you some background. Who was here for the first Campus Code Fest in 2013? Oh, that's not a lot of people. But, so Campus Code Fest is something we came up with 5 years ago. And by we, I mean not me. Chad Fennell from the libraries was at a Code People talk, and he stopped and said, we should do a hackathon. Because we can work together, we can get stuff done, it will be awesome. And at the time I was a manager in CLA, and I said, that sounds awesome, how can I help? It turns out they needed money. Because, to the event, you need to buy, food, find space, all that stuff. And I said, I'll go do that. So I went to my leadership in CLA, and I said, hey, there is this cool thing that we can do, we'd like to spend some money on it. And they were fine with it. And then I moved to OIT, and, then I told my bosses there, I like doing this, and said, sure, why not, you keep doing it. And so every year I find the money, Chad and I go to Costco, we buy all the treats and stuff, we get the pizza. I love it, it's great. And I'm hoping it's fun for everybody, I'm hoping it's useful for everybody, and I really like doing it because I believe it fosters the community that we have here. Once I started doing that, there was kind of a word of mouth situation, and people who came up with other ideas, like this meeting for example, came to me and said, hey, can we do this too? And I would go to Bernie and say, hey, can we do this too? And he would say, sure, it sounds good. And then we would fund it. So pretty soon, OIT was spending about 10 grand a year or more on doing stuff like this. Which was, it's not a whole lot of money, but, from one unit, it's kind of a lot to spend on stuff like this. And what started bothering me was that it was all my friends. The people who knew me who could come to me and ask for money. It wasn't a process. It wasn't something that was creating a stronger community. I mean, it was good that people with ideas could come find me and do things. That was fun. But I figured maybe it's time to do something different. And I came up with a theory. I said, if we had twice the money that we are spending today, we could do twice as awesome and twice as many events, maybe. Because there is demand out there for doing these things that will bring people together like this in different venues and help us be more successful. So this is the idea. We create this initiative to make this a process rather than a people who who you can get to, who can go to Costco with you, all that stuff. Instead, turn into a process where, as a community, we can work together to do this right. And we're talking about communities, events, opportunities. It could be anything. It can be personal or professional. It can be developers aspiring to be managers. It can be, sysadmins looking to learn more about a given technology together. It can be women in IT, which we already have, or anything else where we want to celebrate diversity, we want to get better at, living with diversity and supporting each other. It can be anything. And we want to make it open to everybody. So, my theory was if we doubled the money, we could actually do more, but I didn't want to tell Bernie that he needed to give me more money. I said instead, how about I go outside to the IT leadership community and ask people for support? And these are people who I approached, and they all agreed very graciously, and we have doubled our money. And it's not a lot. I mean, I'm not saying that this is going to, allow us to do all the things in the world, but it's going to allow us to do more. And the other thing I asked these units beyond money was to give us a person to sit on a steering committee to help us look through these things, evaluate these things. And the idea was to get people who are actually experienced with this, who are people who are good at running events, who are part of the community, who are interested in this. And I got those. So we have a website. I'm not going to take up too much more time of your time. The website here is going to tell you what we do, how we do it. It's going to have the schedule of events that we support, the things that we do, all kinds of stuff. And we want to have submissions. So today, this is kind of the official opening of the gates, if you will. We've talked to existing communities. Like this event is supported by FundIT, even though it wasn't official yet because we knew it was coming and our timing kind of sucked. You can ask Ian how long it took to get this off the ground. It was pretty awesome. But this is the university. Things move slow. So we're looking for submissions. And what are we going to do? We are looking to do new things. So I joke that this is not about having better pizza at an existing event. It's having more events with worse pizza. Or the same. I mean, depends on your taste. But we want to do new things. We don't want to just keep doing the same things. And we want to make sure that these are, again, more opportunities, and if an existing group has a cool idea that they want to do, we're certainly open to support it as well. But we do not want to replicate or create things that are recreating wheels that we already have created. One thing to keep in mind is that if your request is denied, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're not going to get money from this particular funding source. You can still go do it. If you have the energy, please go do it. We are more than happy to help you think through other things you can do, how you can find rooms and stuff like that. We certainly will support that. One thing that we are going to be very careful about is that your event needs to be open to all. You cannot say this is only for developers in my department who are working on a certain thing. If you want the department level thing, you can do it yourself. This is supposed to be open to other colleges, other units, the system campuses. We want to be more inclusive. We don't want to create more exclusion by saying, I'm just going to do this for people who look like me or for people who are interested in this very specific thing. And, I don't have great examples for this, but I'm sure we will face certain areas where we don't want to say we're just going to do this for everything. There's no cap on funding, but be realistic. I mean, we're not going to find money for you to pay a speaker $20,000 to come be awesome here. It's not about that. Think about the logistics. I mean, again, part of our theory is that last bullet there. We're not going to run your events. We're not going to be your gophers, schedulers, whatever it is, but we want to help you. And if you are a person with a great idea, if you're a person who wants to support the IT community or your community here, that doesn't mean you know how to order food. That doesn't mean you know how to reserve a space or find a place like this to hold something like this. We want to help you with those things so that you can be more successful. The idea is not to provide support in the way, oh, you just tell us and we'll go do it for you, but it's to mentor people so that more people are capable of doing these things rather than the handful who do today. Okay, this is the idea, and we'd like to see how it works out. So this is our first year, obviously, and this is our funding request link. There is really nothing else. We're going to ask you about what you are trying to accomplish, how much you expect it to cost, what kind of thing you need, and then once we approve, somebody from the committee will reach out to you and say, okay, here are things you should think about if you haven't done this before. Here's how we can help. Have you done this? Have you done that? And in addition to the people over there, people on the list, we also have a great person from OIT's communications team who created these slides, the website, all that stuff, and she's going to be very more than happy to help you out when it comes to doing your communications and working with your community. So this is it. Again, it's a theory. I'm hoping we can prove it out. I'm really looking forward to the requests that we will see and the ideas that you guys will come up with. This is really, really important to us. Just to finish on an example. GitHub. Jake referred to me as the, what do you call me, writer? So without the community here, without people coming together and doing the code fest, doing code people, today, GitHub would be something that we use in a couple of departments here and there. Everybody would have their own license at a crazy price, and we would just be doing our own thing. Today, because those communities can come together, and they could tell me what to do, they could tell the others what to do, we have something that is as amazing as Jake described. That is the power of the community. I mean, yes, we have fun, we come together, we learn from each other, but there is concrete, like, this is a great thing to do, because we could do it together. So, Not everything has to come that way, but it's important to keep in mind that there is concrete return to this. And for people who are analytical, who are very, they are introverted and who don't necessarily like talking to people and to each other, think about that. There is a return to this, and I encourage all of you to do your best to come up with ideas and support these communities because they are really valuable. So thank you, and it's a break now.
So we're coming up on break time.